Thank you all. Thank you all very much.
Madam Attorney General, the Justice Department appeal the Epstein decision today, Mr. President?
How long will the takeover of DC police last?
Hey, Caroline.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll have another
Neighborhoods
briefing.
will see the National Guard on their streets.
All of them.
So that is Donald Trump, Karoline Leavitt, and other high-ranking Trump administration officials ending a disastrous press conference and rushing out of the room as tumult increases over their decision to deploy the D.C. National Guard to federalize the D.C. police, and they are desperate to ignore any questions about Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know if you heard it, but somebody shouted an Epstein question. You heard an audible groan from Attorney General Pam Bondi. And rather than engage with the press, which is what so many Trump administration officials love to do, Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, Karoline Leavitt, Trump himself, they're like, let's get the hell out of here. And that just goes to show how terrible this situation is ultimately for them. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. So much for the most transparent administration in U.S. history, right? You know, when Trump and Leavitt and Hegseth and Bondi and Kash Patel are uncomfortable about a situation, they are eager to get the hell out of Dodge. You heard Leavitt there saying, oh, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Bye, peace. And she just like, roadrunnered out of there. It was like a cartoon thing, right? Just almost disappear in a puff of smoke. That's, again, I think the thing that scares them the most is still the Epstein situation, which we learned about a secret cover-up meeting held at the White House between J.D. Vance and Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, who was also at this press conference, I might add. But let's stick to the conference itself. So this is a follow-up to our most recent video. Trump says, I'm deploying the D.C. National Guard. I'm going to invoke a particular obscure law and federalize the D.C. Metropolitan Police, so I will have direct control over the police forces of the nation's capital, and we may actually deploy active duty U.S. troops and special forces to crack down on crime if need be. And as we discussed in that video, Trump was using really violent, visceral rhetoric to talk about, cops beating the hell out of American citizens. But during the Q&A part of this press conference, Trump said all sorts of weird shit, indicating cognitive impairment as well. I mean, it was just kind of a mess. I want to start with this clip.
The China tariff deadline is tonight, but do you plan to extend that?
We'll see what happens. China's been, we've been dealing very nicely with China, as you probably have heard. They have tremendous tariffs that they're paying to the United States of America. And we'll see what happens. They've been dealing quite nicely. The relationship is very good with President Xi and myself.
And again, he's eager to move on, right? Because this is Taco. Trump always chickens out. Now, I want him to chicken out instead of initiating a trade war with China, but I also don't want him to threaten the fucking trade war in the first place, nor to anybody else, any sane person. And Trump keeps saying, nope, it's the final line in the sand. Nope, we're not backing down. Nope, no changes, no extensions, no nothing. And then he constantly violates his own rule, his own expectation. He breaks his rule. He just lies all the time. And his answer there indicates that, yeah, he's scared to enforce this ridiculous trade war against China, and he should be, but then don't threaten it in the first place. Like, again, you are hoisted by your own petard. Here's another clip.
So bad, and it was mud, and those tanks got stuck in the mud. I don't know who that general is, but knowing Vladimir, he's probably not around any longer because all those tanks were stuck in the mud, and they went along with the javelins. I gave them the javelins. You know that, right? I gave them javelins. They gave them sheets. So, a
couple of things here. I just want to play this clip because note Hegseth, the defense secretary, smirking in the background when Trump jokes about Putin murdering incompetent generals, as Putin is wont to do. Number one. Number two, Trump mentions javelins, which are U.S.-provided weaponry that Ukraine has used against Russia. You may recall, Trump's hoping you don't remember, that Trump extorted Ukraine in his first term with those javelins, those congressionally approved javelins, that assistance that they desperately needed against Russian aggression, in exchange for Zelensky launching a Ukrainian investigation into Burisma, which was a Ukrainian energy company on which sat Hunter Biden, son of then former Vice President Joe Biden, who Trump viewed as his likely main political rival in the upcoming election. Trump engaged. It was a massive scandal. Trump was impeached the first time over it. So now he's hoping you forget and just give him the credit for, well, I gave him the javelins. Like, bro, you tried to extort him over the javelins, and then you panicked and gave him the javelins once your quid pro quo was exposed to the American people. Here's another clip.
Market. So I said, listen, I want 20% if I'm going to approve this for you, for the country, for our country, for the U.S. I don't want it myself. You know, every time I say like 747, I want, yeah, for the Air Force. So I just wanted, so when I say I want 20, I want for the country. I only care about the country. I don't care about myself. And he said, would you make it 15? So we negotiate a little deal. So he's selling.
Would any MAGA person even like? I think Trump's narcissism is so it's so obvious that he's a malignant narcissist. I think most MAGA wouldn't deny that either, and they'll deny pretty much everything. Every character flaw of his, I think, except that. That's how obvious. I don't care about, bro. Nobody believes you. Number one. Number two. And he's like, I want 747, not me, Air Force. It's like the thing is, you're going to be taking the new Air Force One with you when you leave. That's what you announced to the American people. It's going to be transferred to the Trump Presidential Library. So we're getting this free gift from Qatar, and there will be at least $1 billion worth of taxpayer-funded upgrades and retrofitting to make it Air Force One. Because, of course, you basically have to take the whole fucking plane apart, get rid of any bugs or recording equipment that the Qataris put in there. Then you have to upgrade it with all of the top military and communication software and hardware in existence, because Air Force One is a flying fortress, and you're going to fly it for maybe 6 months or 8 months, depending on the timeline, and then you're going to take it with you for your use in your personal library, and then we have to pay for new Air Force Ones. You're actually screwing the American people over. No, it's not for their benefit. It's for your benefit, your ego. Pathetic. Here's another clip.
Yes. It's going to be a big thing. We're going to Russia. That's going to be a big deal. What happens. I'll let you know.
So this is the second time he did it in the press conference. He's like, we're meeting Putin in Russia. No, you're meeting him in Alaska. Alaska's the United States. The United States isn't Russia. What are you doing, man? Like, he's the president of, I think he thinks he's the president of the 49th state. I don't know what he thinks the 50th state is. Is it not Alaska? What do you think Alaska is, man? He's so dumb. He's so dumb. The dumbest U.S. president we've ever had, by far, bar none.
So beautifully. You ride down those roads, everything should be perfect. You shouldn't have medians falling down into the roadway. Median, the metal things that are always, somebody had a great lobbyist, because I've never seen them look good. I've been looking at those things with the little gray. They're always broken.
Medians. Like, look, I know I gesticulate, but I mean, like, Jesus, he can't speak substantively or cogently. It's syllable by syllable. It's just second by second with him. He's riffing at medians. Medians, lobbyists. The median lobby, so corrupt, the median lobby. It's disgusting. It's despicable. Couple more clips to play. Actually, I'm going to skip this one and go straight to the last one, which is really ominous. Okay, again, goes back to what the purpose of the press conference was, which is Trump announcing that he's deploying the D.C. National Guard, federalizing the D.C. police, threatening to deploy active duty troops, as he did in Los Angeles earlier this year, the Marines, threatening to do it again in D.C., and again hinting that there would be more cities to come. At first it was L.A., now it's D.C., and soon it will be something else.
And if we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent. He's an incompetent man. And we have an incompetent governor there. Pritzker's an incompetent. His family threw him out of the business, and he ran for governor. And now I understand he wants to be president. But I noticed he lost a little weight, so maybe he has a chance. You never know what happens. But Pritzker's a gross incompetent guy, thrown out of the family business. But when I look at Chicago and I look at L.A., if we didn't go to L.A. 3 months ago, L.A. would be burning like the part that didn't burn. If he would have allowed the water to come down, which I told him about in my first term. I said, you're going to have problems. Let it come down. We actually sent in our military to have the water come down into L.A. They still didn't want it to come down after the fires. But that was it. We have it coming down. But hopefully L.A. is watching. That mayor also. The city's burning. They lost like 25,000 homes. I went there the day after the fire. You were there. And I saw people standing in front of a burned down home. It was, their homes were incinerated. They weren't.
So again, just cognitive impairment, cognitive decline, the inability to speak substantively on any specific topic. The weave, where he has to ramble from one topic to the next. He doesn't know where he's going, lying his ass off. But the thing you really should take away, threatening again that this is merely the second phase of a long-term plan to try to intimidate liberal, radical left, liberal, far left lunatic cities with federal troops and federal forces and intervention from the federal government. And we have an election coming up in November of next year. So got to consider the timing as well. There you have it, folks. A disastrous press conference. Trump knows it ended in disaster because he and Karoline Leavitt and their top brass just decided to hightail it out of the room rather than spar with the press, answer any questions about Epstein. It's a total shit show, but right now Trump has the power. He might not have the popularity, but he has the power, and it sure seems like he is desperate to abuse it. So keep your eye out. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.